Hey everyone, this is Sarah here, hanging out with Adam from Finji.
Hi.
And we are here to talk about the other two games. We talked about Vice and Night in the Woods yesterday, but today we're talking about Overland and Panoramical. So let's talk about Panoramical first. I got a chance to play that.
Oh yeah?
What kind of game is it?
It's a good question. We've been attempting to describe it as sort of Fantasia meets video games. It's a sort of an interactive album of alien landscapes that each have 16 individual audio-video channels that you manipulate with a gamepad or a MIDI controller or a keyboard and mouse, and it changes the way that the landscape looks and sounds. And so the two creators, Fernando and David, have worked together to craft 8 or 9 different sort of audiovisual landscape things, and then there's also kind of a sideboard of guest tracks by kind of international musicians, artists, animators who have collaborated to build these unique scenes that have a different mood than the stuff that the original creators would have done, but are some of the most breathtaking pieces in the game.
Right.
I don't even know if that makes sense. Kind of when people play it, their eyes light up and they get like really pretty mind blown about the experience, but it's kind of hard to put into words sometimes.
It's very simple. Like the gameplay aspect of it is that you're just kind of moving forward, so you don't worry about movement at all. You're all worried about how the scene is like wrapping around you and how the music's going on.
Yeah,
so,
it's sort of like, it's almost like exploring, but the form that the exploration takes is changing the world around you, instead of just finding things that are already there. It's really weird.
And when I was doing it, I'd play the demo, but there was no real direction. It was like you play and you discover what's going to be impacted by the movements you're doing. So I found one that's like it suddenly started raining, or the sun came out, or the trees turned into clouds. Like it was very strange. You're just sitting there like playing, and I learned that you could do like multiple ones at a time using the actual controller. So it's just a lot of fun checking it out, and it was very relaxing and kind of one of those games where you just sit down and you kind of just turn off your brain and see what's going on.
Yeah, and different scenes will have different moods. So there's some scenes that are very relaxing, very meditative. There are other scenes that are a little darker.
Okay.
And there are some scenes. There's a scene by Mr. Div and Bayan. Mr. Div is a graphic designer that probably some people know from the Prism icon from No Man's Sky.
Okay.
And Bayan's Kyoto-based DJ, and their scene is, I don't know if relaxing is the right word, but it's amazing. It's one of my favorites.
It's very like stimulating, basically, on your senses.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's really good.
So, is there any date on when you expect that to come out? I know we played a pretty early version of it.
Panoramical will be out in less than 2 months.
Okay, wow.
PC, Mac, Linux on Steam and some other stores.
Wow, awesome. That's great. So let's take a minute and let's talk about Overland.
Sure.
And let's kind of look at that one, because I know that's kind of the one that you guys are really like you're showcasing. It seems like here at RTX.
It's the main game that we're developing internally. So Night in the Woods, Vice, Panoramical are all games that we're involved in, and we're helping to distribute and promote and publish. Overland is the game that we've been investing in and developing internally for the last 2 years.
It's your baby.
It's totally my baby, and it's really just an excuse to put all of the things that I've ever wanted to put in a game into the same game. So it's a little bit like XCOM meets Oregon Trail. The longer version is turn-based, squad-based, tactical survival, road trip roguelike, which is kind of an overdone genre at this point, I know, but...
Is there an abbreviation for that at all?
Not yet. What was it?
Soon.
Something, yeah, I'll figure it out. It's going to be really awkward, though.
Yeah, it's not going to make any sense. I'm like,
no.
Why don't you just go the long version?
Yeah. But yeah, it's sort of the randomly generated characters road tripping from the east coast of the U.S. to the west coast. Something terrible has happened to the Earth kind of from the underground up during the late 80s and early 90s. And all the levels are procedurally generated. The road maps on every trip you take are going to be procedurally generated. And so it's a different challenge every time. And a different group of people and dogs every time.
Yeah, I got a chance to watch it. I didn't get a chance to play it yet, but very much, as you say, this road trip, it's essentially you find a way to keep moving through this area, and you go into a very, I don't want to say small, but like an area that opens up, and you have blocks. So you kind of move through the blocks, deal with, it looks like alien bug creatures.
There are things, manifestations that sort of come up through the ground. But yeah, the main tension is you're trying to drive across the U.S. You need fuel to do that. You need to scavenge and forage for fuel. And to do that, you need some supplies to help defend yourself, to help heal people who get injured. And so it's all kind of a balance of figuring out how much fuel to spend and where, how long of a detour do you want to take, how good are the supplies at the end of that detour, and making sure that you don't accidentally run out of fuel. And also trying to manage, how many seats are there in your car, because you just met this person who seems like they're going to be a really useful addition to the group, but this car's already full.
Who do you kick out?
Yeah.
Sorry, you're on your own.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, is there any date on when you expect to get that out, or
Overland will be out next year.
Next year? Great. And where's a good place for everyone to check out where you guys are at, looking at the games more? What's a good place for them to find you?
Easiest place, sort of the hub, is finji.co. And from there you can find our Facebook page and our Tumblr page and our Twitter and our YouTube and our Twitch and all of the things. Finjico on Facebook, Finjico on Twitter, Finjico on Twitch.
It's all the same. So
all of that
simple
stuff. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to find, and you'll be able to find developer streams, video of us programming new features.
Wow.
Kind of guest players and guest game developers coming in to play the game for the first time. Bugs. Overland has the best bugs of any game I've ever worked on. Dogs steal cars. Homeless people float off into the abyss. All sorts of weird things.
Awesome. So you embrace the bugs. You're like, let's show you what exactly is going on.
They're pretty great. It seems like a shame to keep them hidden because they're pretty funny.
Some companies have embraced them and kind of said, you know what? As long as it works, you're gonna have to enjoy the bugs, and those kind of games people love to do.
We're gonna have to stop dogs from stealing cars at some point, but it's gonna be kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for talking to us about your games. Yeah.